March 24th, workout breakdown, leg day, mini cycle, and urban legend weeks and days, number 5 here. Pretty excited about this workout, both the regular workout and the urban legend workout. Kind of changing pace a little bit here. So the mini cycle last week at number 4, we started working on transitioning into kind of like the higher rep counts off of something aerobic, so a little piece of the transitional stuff, which I think is a natural progression from like pausing and tempoing and just doing a large chunk of reps to then maybe parlaying that into aerobic transition into a larger chunk of lighter reps as well, to now where I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes extra to warm up, find the appropriate weight. Made it 50% plus if you want to move, as much weight as physically possible here for these 8 or, 9 or 10 reps, which I doubt anybody ever picks 9, It's always funny to me. It's either just 8 or 10 without putting or. But 2-minute EMOM, 5 rounds. You did this type of setup last week, but I eliminated everything else, and you're just lifting. So your main goal here is to move as much total load or gross tonnage as you can in these 5 rounds. Take 2 minutes to then ramp up if you need to for the deadlifts, and pretty much do the exact same thing with the deadlifts. So this is a very solid 20 minutes of lifting right here, like 2 gigantic movements, 2 very taxing movements. But if you are using the appropriate weights here, hyper efficient 20 minutes right here. Love the setup, love how productive it is, love the efficiency of it. Hopefully you guys enjoy these movements. Following that, we'll move into what I think we've been lacking a little bit of is capacity work. So I want to make it a point to do that, and I came up with this structure. So 20-minute EMOMs with just a nonstop clock. So no written in or baked in recovery here, completely based off the individual and what you choose in terms of the rep count and what you choose in terms of how much time you want to give yourself to recover. And you can make this as easy or as hard as you'd like to do it. So I made these ranges pretty large. Again, more doesn't always mean better. If you're moving at a more aggressive clip with like more weight or just more output, a lot of times you do need to scale back the volume in order to recover and sustain that type of output or weight. So again, just to be clear, like just picking a higher rep count does not always mean better. It just totally comes down to the individual's circumstances as to what you're trying to achieve. So 6 to 20 body weight step overs. Again, we aim for verticality here, 20 or 24. Keep in mind, body weight step overs mean like there is no jumping, at least there's not supposed to be, which plays a role, right? In terms of timing, stepping is slower than jumping, so we don't want to like think that jumping is a progression here, because in this particular setting it's not. You'll do that for 5 consecutive minutes. So that'll be interesting. Get the juices flowing really quick here in terms of lactic buildup in your quads and your glutes, which I love, because then you got to go to the bike. And you're going to do the next set of 5 minutes, 5 to 16 calories. Again, like I talked about at the beginning, more doesn't always mean better. Like it totally depends on what you're trying to achieve here. So again, you guys can play with that and manipulate that a little bit. Again, making it as easy or as hard as you'd like to do it. Third set of 5 minutes, bodyweight front lunges. You're going to take a black mat out. Alternate these would be the way to go. You certainly don't want to not alternate these. This is an opportunity just to work on motor pattern and moving as quickly as you can and using that black mat to your advantage so you don't bash your knee into the ground. And then minutes 16 through 20, you get to end with the dumbbell thrusters, which is honestly pretty brutal from a programming standpoint, which I kind of love. Like I think it's nice sometimes to flip the script a little bit and put one of the harder things at the end. Again, you may have to scale your weight and take a couple weight classes down by this point, and just in order to get through these, or maybe maintain the volume that you're aiming for. But again, nice little X factor to end that 20 minutes on the EMOM. Urban Legend workout. I believe this is week 1. I don't want to be completely wrong on that. I think this is the week 1, as in like week 5 is the first time we're changing modalities to smoother, larger chunks, which I believe is true. You're going to start with the deadlifts. Wanted to give you guys, we just haven't been doing them, so it just seemed like smart. Like we're gonna do so much volume at the 4 rounds here, the meat and potatoes of this, that deadlifting I don't think has any negative ramifications. So opportunity to move some weight here. I take advantage of this. Make sure you warm appropriately. Let's not cut out on load here. It's only 4 sets. It's only 8 reps, 32 total reps. I don't want you guys cutting sets or reps out to warm up or ramp up. Like do that ahead of time. Of course, move as much weight as you can. Obviously, under the impression that your form is good. And then you guys will dive into these 4 rounds, which goes right with how this is labeled. Smoother, larger chunks. So your goal is to maintain a very consistent output. And I will be aiming to do these 4 rounds literally like flawlessly the same. Like that's the goal. Round 1 and round 4, they may feel different, but they're not going to look any different. That's the goal. May fail miserably if I overshoot myself. But this is nice and kind of and gives you a little bit of opportunity to see how well you know yourself and how this training has gone for you. I think a lot of you guys understand your biking, your running a hell of a lot better than you did 5 weeks ago. So that's the goal. It's not to treat these as negatives. It's not to just rip through these rounds and check our splits. Like, that's not the point of this in the Urban Legend, unless you understand you're racing against the clock towards the end and you can kind of time things out knowing that you only have X amount of time. You're usually trying to move at a clip, like that floor level clip, right? That 60 to 70% output really through everything until you realize that you do need to make up time there. So I want you guys to try to approach it like that. Same RPMs, same pace through the front squats, same pace through the bodyweight squats. On my watch, I will 100% be clocking my splits for the squatting. I will definitely be checking in on myself, like round 1 to round 2, 3, and 4. Like, are they roughly in the same ballpark? Am I a couple seconds off? Did I lose a minute? Like on my front squats on round 3 or 4. And the last piece I will say is ideally at goal weight. Again, remember, big asterisks here. Like, this is very individual. I want you guys to be able to do these at your goal weight, but like, it's very realistic that a lot of you cannot do 20 front squats 4 times at your goal weight. Some of you might just be barely scratching getting the 50 required. If that's the case, that's fine. Like, just do as many as you can at your goal weight. You can always bridge the back half of these 20 squats. It's not that big of a deal. Those of you that had the ability to go over your goal weight, like, don't. That's not the point of this. I want you at the same weight, really focusing on pacing and output and staying consistent. If you finish all 4 of these rounds, for the people that manage to pull this off with the same RPM and the same, essentially same splits on the front squats and bodyweight squats, like, that's exactly what I want. But again, that very likely may not happen for a lot of you guys, which is fine. That's the whole reason why we're doing this.